All right, guys. Hello. Thank you for joining us on the Beyond the Pages podcast here for Wichita Real Producers. We are live in Trestle Media Studios with the incredible Troy Trestle. So Troy produces our podcast, and he also creates exceptional videos for many other clients here in town, especially the real estate industry. If you're interested in starting your own podcast or you're looking for some high quality branding videos, then Troy is definitely your guy. He is a master storyteller through the video, and he'll bring your brand to life. So I'm your host, Samantha Lucerini, and we have Tonya Wituk here with us from Perfection Builders, who's also a realtor. So you get to wear both hats today, right? You get to talk about yourself in the real estate industry, and then you're also representing an incredible builder that we have here in Wichita called Perfection. So we're going to talk about new developments, the housing shortage, what you do in your free time, which I'm super excited to get to, a little bit of real estate and everything in between. So,
okay, great.
On that note, start us off. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the real estate industry.
Yeah. So I've lived in Wichita for 41 years now.
Okay.
So a long time. And my parents, I grew up in West Wichita and we farmed my whole life.
Okay.
And so I drove a combine until about 10 years ago.
Oh, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. And my parents, farming had hundreds of acres, takes a lot out of you. Yes. So they decided they were wanting to retire and get rid of the land. And so they were looking at moving back into Wichita, and they decided on Perfection Builders. So that is how I came to where I'm at today.
Oh, that's a cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were on that side of it as a client,
right?
With your parents.
I had just started in resale real estate.
Okay.
And that's when I met the builders and starting to become interested in new builds.
Yeah, the new build
resale
process. Okay. Mm-hmm. So then are your parents still in that house today? The Perfection Builder?
Yeah, they are in our West community, which is called the Courtyards at Auburn Hills.
Yes, I love that. Okay. So then when were you licensed as a realtor?
Oh gosh, 9 months prior to starting at Perfection. So it's been about 6.5 years now.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And was that just that process of helping your parents sell and build something new? Was that what got you interested in real estate, or was there an interest before that?
No, I had entered into real estate prior to that with the intent of it really being a side hustle and me wanting to expand my knowledge in real estate. Yeah. And I think that's how a lot of us start in it, just we're curious about it.
Curiosity.
But then
for sure.
when I saw how excited and happy they were with the process and the end product, they're incredibly picky people.
Yeah.
And so if they could be satisfied, I was intrigued by that kind of a company.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. That got your attention. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so you were doing a lot of resale real estate, right? Which is mostly just previous builds for sellers, for buyers.
Correct.
And then you decided to join the Perfection Builders family.
Right.
So tell us, from a 10,000, foot view, tell us about Perfection Builders and why they're different and why you chose them.
So I've always been interested in entrepreneurship. I mean, since I was 5. And what really stood out to me is that Perfection chose a niche or a niche.
Yeah.
They cater to people that truly are seeking to get more time back, or they're looking to downsize, or they want something new that, I've lived in a home that's almost 100 years old. There's a lot of maintenance that comes along with that.
A lot of time spent on that.
They knew their arena. They knew their product really well. And it is a product that is in demand and it's just going to grow. So that is really what spoke to me when I learned about Perfection.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't they the largest builder in the state of Kansas?
Last I heard they are.
That's what I've heard too.
Yeah. So, and they're just growing. Right now they're in Wichita, and I think we're on our 10th and soon 11th community.
Okay.
And then we're in Kentucky. And we're also just launching in Colorado, and they have some
that's exciting,
cool new other niche plans for their portfolio. But I'm only focused on the courtyard communities.
Yes.
So
let's dive into that 11th community that they are developing. Tell us all about that, the location, everything that we need to know.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's in Andover.
Okay.
Of course, God's not making any more land. So
that's right.
We're constantly trying to find areas that are still close to the mecca of things that people want to do. This is on the north west corner of 21st and Andover Road. One of the super exciting things to me is we're going to build the clubhouse with our very first builds. So what that means is the first residents will already have stuff to do.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's common sense. Like that makes a lot of sense.
And it's just having the funding to be able to do that. And not every builder can, which is why when you say they're the biggest builder in Kansas, what does that mean to the resident? It means that they can do things quicker than maybe some other smaller builders can.
Sure.
And so we're going to have bocce ball courts. We're going to have pickleball courts, a heated
the
saltwater
pickleball.
pool.
Yes.
Yeah. And for the first time ever, it's not on a golf course, but we're going to have a golf simulator room in the clubhouse. So that's
awesome.
going to be super special. And then we're going to have a lot of park areas, a lot of places to walk your dog.
Good.
And so we're kicking off in like 3 weeks with our first builds. The roads are in.
Yes.
I call it Tonya's trailer. Tonya's trailer is set up. It's ready to go.
All right. We're going to have to come see Tonya's trailer.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, and you're right there next to Jumpstart, which is super great, cheap gas, and right next to Casey's, which has really good food.
Yeah, hop on the highway to get to KC if you want. And
that's right.
I timed it. We're about 7 minutes away from the Greenwich corridor with Target and
Perfect.
Starbucks and all that jazz.
Yep, just straight west on 21st
Right.
Street. What a great location.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Because I know that a couple of years ago, Perfection Builders had the alley homes and the other really unique concepts out there closer to Kellogg and Andover Road.
Yes.
Which is really incredible. You know, now there's that huge 3-story apartment, complex going up out there.
Lots going on down there.
A lot. The Andover Y will soon be, back to its
Bigger and
full
better.
strength. Bigger and better. That's right. Well, that is super exciting. So how many homes are planned for that development?
So 111.
Okay.
And we do have more land. So right now I'm going to be focused on selling through our phase 1.
Okay.
And then once we're about 85% full, we'll open up a phase 2.
Okay.
So we've got plenty of options. We've got water lots. We're going to have tree row lots. And then we've got some new plans that are super exciting. First time ever. The garage is on the back, which I love because your house looks all pretty and
I
nice
love
and
that
neat
too.
from the front, and you're not looking at a big garage.
Right. Yes. No.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's beautiful garage doors, and
Sure.
I know Chris Mann was just in here with Robert's Over Doors, but that's what I prefer too. I prefer, because I've lived in Dallas, and a lot of the doors are in the back.
Really? Okay, good.
And that makes more sense. You want this beautiful curb appeal.
Yeah.
Even if it's a side load garage, but I just never was a fan of garages right there in the front. That's all you see.
Yeah, and we've got a great product in South Andover that is our Commons product that has the garages on the back, but they're going to be more family oriented with 2 stories. Ours, we're going to stick to no steps. Everything is just kind of at your fingertips for the floor plans that we're going to be building in Cornerstone.
Wonderful. So will there be basements in these builds?
We don't put
there more
basements in
patio?
our builds, but we do offer the concrete. They're called ICFs, an insulated concrete form structure.
Yeah.
And they're really nifty because we build them around the master closet. We can put them in the garage. They are built to FEMA standards and they're rebarred in. So definitely
It's your safe
you've
spot.
got that option if you want it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's some really neat technology. And then what are the price points going to be of these homes?
We're going to start little over 300,000. And when I say that, it's kind of great because it's going to include your lot. It's going to include your yard. It's going to include your sprinkler system. It's going to include some landscaping, and they go up from there. But these are tried and true floor plans. And then you put your own spin and your own finishes on it.
That is so cool. How exciting. Well, I can't wait to start seeing that come to fruition.
Yeah.
Yes, right there in my own backyard. So what does a typical day look like for you?
Yeah. So it's different than a resale realtor because the realtors with Perfection are much more involved in knowing pricing. Pricing changes a lot, and we are the ones that are going to work with the residents on pricing out their customs. And, if they want crown molding or if they want an accent shiplap wall, getting all of that put together. And then showing them homes around the city is super fun because we do have models in all of our communities that they can go see and touch in person. So meeting them on site in a different community is pretty important for us to do.
The models and make it their own. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the main touching points that we're going to hit on before we get to contract stage. And so just walking them through what their hopes and dreams and desires are. It's a really emotional, fun experience, but also maybe talking to them about if they are downsizing, what the best way is to tackle that, because it's more than just moving into a new house. They're a lot of times getting rid of a lot of memories too, or they may be moving from a distance. So getting them more accustomed to what's offered in Wichita, because there are a lot of people that are moving back here, which is super exciting. And a lot of times it's for family. So we're just seeing an influx, not to the extent that like Texas is, or even Colorado, but it's definitely happening right now.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I think it's really important for our community to know that there's right now, new home sales are the thing that's hot, right? The new builds, because we don't have enough inventory.
Right.
And we still need a lot of diversification, that we need a lot of different choices when it comes to the new builds. So you
that's
guys are
a great
filling
point.
A niche.
We're filling a niche, and the builders kind of recognized that in the last year and a half, that people want inventory now. Yeah. So they're definitely working hard to plan builds out. Like we have 15 models set to be built in Cornerstone. So they're all going to need buyers.
A wide variety.
Yeah. And I think that's an important point to touch on, is that it's not just you walking in and having to start this giant ball rolling down a hill. You may come in and grab a custom that's already planned out, and you can just tweak a couple things. Sure. You can make as many decisions or as few decisions as you want.
That's right. Yeah. And because I know building a home, it requires about 1 million decisions. And that's not an exaggeration, right? And my grandpa was a builder, and he'd always used to say, if a marriage can survive building a home, you've got a strong marriage. And so I'm sure that you wear many hats, not just realtor, but, therapist and consultant and, someone that they can commiserate to and celebrate with.
Sure.
It's a daunting process. What do you estimate is going to be the time frame on you guys building right now?
It used to be a year, and it has come down. When I was chatting with our superintendent for Cornerstone 2 days ago, I think we're down to between 6 and 8 months now. Of course, the bigger houses take a little bit longer. Sure. And as a customer, you don't really want to rush that process.
No,
but
patience pays.
It's a lot better than when we were at the height of COVID. Yes, and it was super hard to get stuff in.
Oh, that is really encouraging, Tonya.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, I learned something every day, every time we host a podcast, but that's really encouraging to know that build process is.
Yeah, we're super excited. So really taking the pain out of the decision-making process. The folks that build with us will have about 4 vendor visits to pick out their granite and their paint and things like that. But it can actually all be condensed into 2 days. And really, I think that Perfection has done a great job of taking that million decisions and making it a lot more digestible and maybe just like, choices.
A lot less stressful.
And maybe 80 decisions on finishes.
So you don't have analysis paralysis.
Yeah. And we can even walk through finished models, and you just tell me, if you like that stone, I'm going to look it up for you, and I'm going to get it all taken care of for you. So
That's cool. Yeah. There's so many different avenues that you can go down as a realtor, and you can really dive deep into that lane and into those specifics. And as a new home only agent, which is pretty rare still, it's just a whole different world. So
it is. Yeah.
There's a lot there for you to learn, and I'm glad that you do.
Yeah. Just like you, I'm learning something new every day.
Absolutely. So. I'm sure you are. So, what is the craziest new build story that you have come across?
Well, you locked and loaded and let me think about that question overnight. And it's more of like an overtime situation. When we went into COVID in the spring, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm done. I'm like, my career is over. Nobody's going to want to build because they can't come out and they can't see the home. So how is this going to work?
Right.
But it was this strange phenomenon that I would say it probably started about 3 months into all of us sitting at home.
Yeah. So like this summer.
Everybody starts looking around.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my home.
Yeah. I don't like
it. This is stupid. I need a project.
Yes.
Like no better time than now. And so at this time I was in our Derby community.
Okay.
And I got to meet the most wonderful folks. We had some of the most exciting build ideas, because people had time to think about it. And we were just crazy busy. So I never would have expected that would have happened. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It really was.
I love that. And I think a lot of people felt that same way. You know, that first month or two after lockdown, all of us were freaking out,
right?
Checking on each other, freaking out, starting to get, you know, some cabin fever. But there's always a silver lining, right? There's always something good to be found and see in any kind of tragedy or any kind of situation like that. So I love that. And our market is still strong. It's still, you know, new builds are the thing to go after right now, because they can spend 6 months waiting for the right home to hit the market. And if they're not there within 5 seconds of it going live, or their agent isn't keeping an eye out, then they might be waiting 6 months anyways.
It actually is, to me, it is super helpful because it gives people a chance to plan. It's not this panic induced situation of like, okay, we found something, we've got to make an offer today. Our house isn't even on the market. I mean, you've got 6 or 7 months to continue to watch interest rates, which have dropped, you know, I think for the third week consecutively, which is good. But yeah, preparation meeting opportunity always gives you the best outcome. And I think the new build situation really helps people if they can just wait a little bit to make the house exactly how they want it. That's right. Always going back. And I learned this lesson at a young age, that patience pays and impatience costs. It does. Yeah, for sure. So what do you do with your time outside of work? Well, I have an awesome husband and a dog and a cat. And so we hang out a lot together. And I also have a small business. And so I run that on the side. Tell us about that. It's all females except for our blog writer, and he's in Brazil right now. But yeah, it's a pet apparel business. So I love it. It's kind of like my kid, because I didn't have kids. I just have pets. Yeah. And so that is what gives me my sanity and my peace and my hobby. A good outlet. So, good creative outlet. Mm-hmm. So tell us, what is it called? What do you create? How can we find you? And I need to order 2 for Dobermans. Okay, perfect. It's called House of Fur Baby. Okay. And we're online, so houseoffurbaby.com. Okay. So you can find us on Instagram. And so we sell collars. We are big in formal pet wear. Okay, and formal, like for weddings and celebrations. Yeah. And so my gosh, when COVID hit, that actually helped this business for me very much, because people started downsizing their special events, started celebrating their pets' birthdays. We make birthday apparel. So it's kind of fun, because it also helps me in the real estate arena, because most of our clients have pets. Yes. And so it's just like, they make decisions building their house. They really do. Pets. And it all ties back together and gives us some really fun talking points. Yes. And like, my pets are my babies and their pets are their babies. Yes. And so it kind of just brings a human side. Like, let's talk about something else other than houses just for a second here. That's right. Yeah. So it's really fun. Okay. So what are the different types of things that you're making? So like for like a boy dog in a wedding, or for a girl dog, or what are the other kind of formal things? And are there like pajamas? Are there cold weather gear? Like we just launched our coats and fleeces last fall. And so we do have cold weather gear, and we do the dresses and the bow tie collars. We're just starting to get into tuxes and harnesses. Okay. And it's kind of fun, because we're actually doing a fashion show with Walzer BMW. They're launching a new model in a week and a half. And so we're providing all of the gear, and we're partnering up with the Humane Society. So it's just a fun way to get to meet people in the community too. Yeah. And people are crazy about their pets, and we will spend a lot of money. My son comes home every day. He's like, I think you spend more money on the dogs than you do me every month. I know, I do. I'm like, maybe. So we'll see. I don't know. Okay. I love that. Okay. So House of Fur Baby. Yeah. All right, we'll have to look that up. So what is the one thing that you would want Wichita real estate and the community of realtors to know about Perfection Builders? We kind of touched on, what sets you apart, but when do you want a resale agent to call you? What do you want them to know to maybe calm their fears, or just, they might not know this process, and so we tend to stay away from things that we're not familiar with. So what would you like to share with the community? You're exactly right. When I started, I was with Berkshire Hathaway, and I didn't know anything about the new build process, so I stayed away from it. Absolutely. And what I would love to say to realtors is just come see me. And the really cool thing is, if you just want to call Tonya and say, I'm working with Susie Q. Look, I don't know what she's going to do. I'm showing her resale, but she's out driving around on the weekends. She may pop in. If I can just write Susie Q's name down and she comes in, it's going to be your deal.
Yeah.
So you really,
that's beautiful.
And that is the strange nature of new builds, is that people do come see us without their realtor because we're open 1 to 5 every day.
Yeah.
But just give us their name and you're their realtor.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to learn about the floor plans and be a part of the process, it's really fun and interesting. But if you literally just want to give us Susie Q's name
and then take hands off and just see
that's
when
fine
is.
too. It just depends on how much time that realtor has and if they want, how involved they want to be in the process. But I would love to do every deal with a realtor in Cornerstone. So
that's right. And
that's on my agenda to bring,
Yes.
Donuts and cookies to some of the real estate groups this spring, and just drop off some educational packets so that they feel more comfortable coming to visit the different communities.
Yeah, that's the key is giving them that power, giving them that permission, that education. And then it's creating those collaborative relationships. And if the agents can humble themselves, set aside a little bit of ego, ask how it goes, we don't have to know everything. And new builds is a completely different language of real estate, just like commercial is a completely different language of real estate. But when they can take that time and they commit themselves to that continuing education, that learning what needs to happen, it elevates the entire real estate industry.
Yeah.
And so I'm obviously a huge advocate for that. And I want to encourage all our resale agents to not be afraid of it. I don't know anything about it until I blindly worked with Jordan Noon at Berkshire with some new builds and for my buyer clients years ago. And it's difficult to go in there in front of your clients
because you want to provide them value. And if you don't know what that is, you kind of want to avoid it because it's like, how am I benefiting my client? But you are totally benefiting your client to bring them a new experience you can both learn from.
That's right.
And the other really cool thing about perfection, this is not by any means offered by every builder, but if they're going to be financing with a construction loan or with their own funds, which about half of my clients are, and we'll walk them through that process, then we actually pay that realtor up front. And so I know that that's another hesitation that realtors have, that they're like, well, I don't want to wait 9 months to get paid, or I can't even afford that. But there's a strong chance that you'll actually get paid up front.
How cool is that? I love that. Good.
Yeah.
That's exact information I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear some really good things.
Yeah.
That was perfect. So how would you describe our real estate market today? Because you did resale before you got into the new build. And everyone has a very different perspective. And I always like to learn from everybody. How would you describe our market today here in spring of 2023? Yeah.
So I'm not on, in MLS every day looking for resale opportunities, but what my general vibe is kind of coming across as right now is it's calming. In my opinion, we've had so much volatility, and I'm not an economist by any means, but seeing that the interest rates have dropped just a little bit, if you've got low interest rates and you've got no inventory,
which is where we are,
then you're overpaying for a house.
Yeah.
Now we're getting back to where we have a little bit more inventory. You're not having to go run across town to throw an offer at somebody all cash just to get something.
Right.
But our interest rates are a little higher. So it's just this balance thing. And as long as you're not buying in a spike, it's going to figure out its settling point. And I think we're getting a little bit closer to that. And especially from the new inventory side of things, we're getting the inventory that we need. We're getting the supplies that we need. And so it's really a better time to buy, and you don't even have to worry about you don't have to worry about your interest rate for probably 6 or 7 months, because you're not even going to lock in until we get a little closer to closing.
Great. Yeah, I love that. How do you handle the situation as a new home realtor when someone does come and they've got a resale, they've got a house to sell, to be able, how do you guys handle that?
Yeah, sometimes they're coming from out of state, or sometimes they're just coming from a neighborhood away.
Yeah.
And everybody's situation is different, but some people have a place to live and they'd rather offload their house now to see what it sells for. Most of the time, if they can, we love to have them move into their new home and then take all the stuff with them. And then they have their old home their construction loan can extend out and they're making interest only payments on it, which is super nice.
That's very convenient.
And then they can sell their other home at a non-rush. They don't have to live in it to do it, but we can do it all different ways.
That is awesome. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of options there, and those are the things. If you just don't know, you don't know.
Right.
But having that knowledge can calm all of the objections and all of the fears that this seller and potential new home buyer it might have.
Yeah.
That's
because
awesome.
really, I mean, like you said, if your marriage can make it through a build, you're probably pretty strong.
Yes.
I think one of my main jobs is to take the emotions down. And the only way you can do that is by setting the plan and knowing that the worst case scenario is really not the worst. That's not that bad. It's not that big of a deal.
6% interest rate is not that scary. And if that's the worst as it gets, then you're in great shape.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Okay. What is an absurd habit or unusual thing about you that we would enjoy learning?
Okay. Well, this is a confession, but we canceled cable just to do it like 6 months ago.
Okay.
And I have fallen in love with QVC.
Oh my gosh, it still exists?
There's this guy, David, who he sells all the cookware and the chef products, and he's always baking. And I just love him. Like my mind is blown. I've always been in sales. But to be able to watch them like pick up a rake and talk about a rake for 30 minutes and make me want to buy a rake where I don't need one. Like I would rather watch that than Marvel movies any day of the week. So that's where you'll find me at like 9 at night or whenever, even on the weekends.
Okay. So because I think on QVC you used to like call in, right? But now you just like go to the website. Is that how you purchase?
Yeah, they still do have call-ins. They have people that just la talk. And I have to admit this, I bought my first thing off QVC.
I was going to ask, how many things have you bought? What did you buy?
Well, I bought skincare, but it was because I know that brand. But I'm just warning you, I'm probably going to buy something weird because I'm getting comfortable with it now. So
your poor husband, what does he think of this?
He watches it with me.
I love it.
Yeah, it's good.
You know what? Here's the goal. We're going to manifest it that House of Fur Baby is on QVC.
There you go. I love that.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, anything's possible, right?
Yeah, it is.
Very good. How has a failure or an apparent failure actually turned into something great and set you up for success?
Yeah, I am thankful for having a lot of failures and earlier in life so that, you can kind of learn from them.
And recover.
Yeah, because I remember when I was in junior high and, I just thought I was going to just do it. You just wake up and do it.
Right.
But went and tried out for cheerleading, and that was a terrible tragedy because at the time you try out in front of the whole student body. And I, for some reason, just didn't realize until that moment that I was there that I didn't know anything and I hadn't practiced. But just little situations like that have helped me understand you have to practice. You have to learn. Yeah. You don't have this amazing special sauce that you can just bam do it because
you've got to keep trying and failing.
Yeah, and if it's a big thing, if it's a monumental life change that's for the better of you, it's not going to be easy. So I would say that's probably my biggest life lesson.
Amen to that. Yeah, very good. I'm glad you shared that. Okay, well, to wrap up really quickly, a couple last questions. Favorite book or most recommended book?
I've got a couple.
Okay.
There's one called Ishmael. It's about a gorilla.
Okay.
And it has to do with like, world peace and just seeing things differently.
Okay.
I would say that's
your favorite book?
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's the one I'll throw out to you. So.
All right, that's good. Well, I'm an Audible girl, so that's why I selfishly asked that question. Okay, very good. All right. Well, when just to wrap this up, when can people expect to come out to your new Cornerstone development there at 21st and Andover Road and see something? Yeah. So right now you can come out and see the sign that says we're open 1 to 5. Yes. My trailer's there. Tonya's trailer.
I'll have drinks and snacks. The roads are in. You can see where all the lots are mapped out to be. You can see where the water's at. You can see where the clubhouse is going to be. Okay. But we already have lot reservations. We already have build contracts. So if you drive through a neighborhood and you go to the back where all those amazing lots are and you're just like, God, and those houses never sell because they found the best spot in the community. those are always the first ones to go.
Yes.
And those are always the early adopters that take a little bit of risk. You know, they don't need to wait until the whole community's filled out and you just have a couple lots left that are not the most desirable ones.
Right.
So now is the time to come to Tonya's trailer because I can show you what the best ones are going to be.
I love it. I can totally see a whole social media theme going on right now with Tonya's
Good.
trailer.
Yeah, this will become a thing.
It is. Yeah. And especially with Andover and the tornadoes. And it's just for those that know.
Yes.
We can see the humor in that.
Yep.
I love it.
Definitely.
Well, thank you, sweetheart. It was so fun to get to know you.
Yeah,
and
this
so
was great.
exciting to learn about this new development that Perfection is doing. So thank you for bearing the weight of all the Perfection guys. I know they're out there busy doing other things. So
yeah, they're moving and shaking,
Yeah,
and
they
they're not afraid to try new things.
Yes,
so
I've noticed that.
It's really freeing. So it's great.
And Wichita needs that. We do have so many houses that look so similar. And I love what Josh and Scott and Jim and all those people are doing to just make Wichita better.
Yep.
To elevate our real estate community.
Definitely.
All right, guys. Well, that is a wrap. Thank you for joining us on the Beyond the Pages podcast. Be sure to subscribe here. We will have a podcast drop every week. And if you just want to listen to it, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Have a great day, guys.